Hello everyone, on this video I'm going to show you how to activate some other functionality for UI buttons other than just a on click. So in order to get started, I'm just going to create a new project. The current version I'm using is 2019.3.1 F1. So we're just going to call this one custom button. And we're just going to start doing like a normal 3D project. We're going to create it. All right, here we have our new project. We're going to just, it's okay to just stay with the sample scene. We're going to add a UI. I usually start by adding a canvas, and later I use a panel, and in this panel we're just going to add just a button. So here's our button. Okay, I have created a folder here just to contain all my scripts. I'm going to create a C# script called test button just for testing my button. I'm going to double click and edit it with Visual Studio. So of course, if I wanted to add some functionality to this button, for example, I could add a function here on the inspector, right, on the onClick, but I want to do it with the code, and this is going to be useful for what I'm going to explain you later. I'm going to grab a reference of that button here. This is my test button. In order to solve that problem, I have to include Unity engine.ui. So test button is going to be equal to get component in children, because the script is going to be added on the canvas. Actually, I don't know if I added it or not. Let's go back here and check. It is not added, so I'm going to add it to the canvas. So as you can see now, the test script button is here. So at this point I have a reference to this button. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to subscribe to this onClick event by doing this. Add listener. So I'm just going to call this function click. Let's call it button clicked. All right. So I'm going to generate that method, and what I'm going to do here is just send a message to the console to say button has been clicked. So if I run now this, as you can see in the console here, when I click the button, it says button has been clicked. Very simple. I have not done anything here on the inspector. I did it all with code. However, if I wanted to do something more, as you can see here, for example, with the IntelliSense, you can see that there are some methods which are handlers here for the OnPointerEnter, OnPointerExit, etc. Right? So I'm going to navigate through this class a little bit to the button class to see where it comes from by pressing F12. So it takes me to this part where it says that button inherits from selectable, and if I go to selectable, I see that there are some virtual methods declared here, which means that they can be overridden. So let's do that. We're going to override some of these methods that are here. So in order to do so, we're going to do it in our custom button class that we created that inherits from button and therefore inherits also from selectable. So we're going to do public override void OnPointerEnter. We're also going to do public I can't type today. Public override void OnPointerExit. We're also going to do public override void OnPointerDown. And I'm also going to do OnPointerUp, but for this one I'm going to be lazy, so I'm just going to copy paste and I'm going to do OnPointerUp. I would also like to do OnPointerClick for a reason that I'm going to explain later, but that one I didn't see it here, but it's in the other class, the one this one inherits from directly, which is button class. So we can see that that one is here, right? So I'm also going to override that one. Public override void OnPointerClick. All right, so I got all those methods overridden here. Now I could do something here, right? Like, let's say take some action, but ideally I don't want to do it here, because if I want to make this scalable for later, I want to be able to subscribe to this events from outside, from any other scripts. So for that I'm going to create some Unity events here. So Unity events, I'm just gonna do OnPointerEnter. I'm just gonna do this as a well, and I'm gonna do a get and a set. So I have to include Unity Engine events. So I'm gonna do that for all of the events that I want to create here, which are 5, right? So OnPointerEnter, OnPointerExit, OnPointerDown, OnPointerUp, and then OnPointerClick. Click, no click. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is that inside these methods that are overriding the other ones, I'm going to trigger these events. So for example, the OnPointerEnter is going to be triggered here. You do that with invoke. So same thing, just getting really lazy here, just copy paste. I'm just gonna make sure that I change the name for the event that I'm triggering. So this one is going to be OnPointerExit, right? Oh, OnPointerExit. So this one is going to be OnPointerDown, and this one OnPointerUp, and then OnPointerClick. All right. So now I have all my events here. One thing I forgot is that I have to make them public so I can subscribe to them. Otherwise I won't be able to see them from an outside class. Okay, so I'm gonna make them all public. Now I'm gonna go to my testing scripts that I have here, and I'm going to try to subscribe to this one. As you can see here, I still don't see them. Why? That is because now I have to change my button to make it a custom button, which is a class that I created, the one that inherits from button and the one that includes the events that I created. So if you look now, test button, I have all the other events now described here, right? So I can do OnPointerEnter. I'm gonna add a listener, and it's just gonna be pointer entered, pointer enter. I'm gonna do the same thing with the OnPointerExit, and this is going to be called exit. So I'm going to create these methods, of course, because I have not defined them yet. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to say pointer. I'm not going to say button here. Now I'm going to say pointer as entered, and for the other one I'm just going to say pointer as exited. So if I run on this now, if I run and I'm getting a null reference error that refers to adding this listener. In particular, which one is the one that is complaining about? Line 14. And that is because I have to, I believe, oh, sorry, not invoke, awake. I have to create instances of these ones. Equals a new Unity event. Do the same thing with all the other ones, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just copy pasting. Alright, Control S, save. Now we go back and we're going to see what happens now if we keep getting the error. Yes, we'll keep getting the error. Oh, of course, because there's one thing I forgot. We created a custom button now, and well, our system doesn't know anything about the custom button yet. It just knows about the button. So what we have to do now here is add to this button the script that we define here, the custom button script. So if I try to do it, it's gonna complain. It's just gonna say that I can't add the custom button to button because a button already exists. So I can't have two. So I'm gonna remove this one, and I'm going to add my custom button script. And as you can see now, the custom button has the same functionality that the other script had. It's just that now it can handle the other events. So now, in order to do this later, like if you want to duplicate this, of course you might want to save this button on a prefab or something, because otherwise you will have to be manually adding the custom button script all the time. So now my button is a custom button now that can subscribe to these events and can handle those events that I created myself. So let's run it now and see if we don't get an error now. Alright, so if I go pointer enter, oh, I have to click in here first. Pointer enter, pointer as exited, and enter it again. And if I click, of course the other one still works. Good. See that I also I could of course subscribe to the other events too, on Pointer app and on OnPointerDown, and of course it also depends on where are you deploying this, because if you are deploying this into Android, of course the OnPointerEnter, OnPointerExit doesn't make any sense, but you might get some use of the OnPointerDown and OnPointerUp. And we also have the OnPointerClick, which is actually what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to not use the other one. I'm just going to use the OnPointerClick instead, and I'm going to handle the same way. so it should also work. Why am I declaring another one on OnPointerClick if we already had the onClick? It's just because of what I'm going to do later to make it more consistent, because we want to scale this on the next tutorial. I want to do that. So the click now still works with a new click that I have, and of course I could add some other fancy functionality here. Let's say, for example, if I just wanted to have, that's going to be on my, it could be on my test button, I guess. Color, I can just add two colors here, the current color and the I don't know, hover color, whatever I want to call it. So this one on the beginning is just going to get the color from the test button, so it just can keep a reference of it. It should be image, should be color, right? And then when I exit, I wanted to recover the color that I have, and when I enter, I want to use another color that let's say hover color that I'm going to define somewhere in here as, I don't know, color as blue maybe. Okay, so what I want to do now is that my color changes to the actual hover color when I enter the button. So let's Control S. Let's try that now. And it is not changing the color. Why is that? Let's go back. Let's stop it first. When I'm doing OnPointerEnter, oh, of course, because what he has to change is not the current color. What he has to change is the actual test button that image that color. See, copy pasting sometimes is not very good. So I think it should work now. Yeah, our button now, it is changing color, but it's not changing back when we exit. Why not? Let's see. Of course, because again we got this thing backwards here. We are assigning the current color into the test button that image that color. Okay, so now it should work. I apologize for that mistake. Let's see, now it works. See, now the button changes color. Probably the blue is not the best one, but you get the idea. When I just exit and when I click, I can do something else. And if you can see, you could do some very cool things with this. Like with your UI, you could make it dynamic. You could probably use some other type of animations, like changing the size or whatever. But the idea is that you can control those things from the outside, not because then you can customize it to your needs. But your custom button is going to have those events available all the time, so you can subscribe to them. This is important, I believe, because if I don't have this, I think it should get me an error if I don't make them equal to an instance at the start. Let's try them. Yeah, see, I'm getting that error. And that's what I thought it was before, but it was something else. But this is also important. So we need to have those initializations here. And you want to make those in the awake function. Otherwise, you might be subscribing to something that doesn't exist yet. So you don't want to do that. So you want to do it on the awake. Like I said before, now we have our custom button that does all that. I could probably save that into a prefab. So that's what I'm going to do. We need to create a folder that contains the prefabs, and I'm going to put my button inside, and I have created a prefab now, so I can add the button now. See, if I wanted to add, let's say, another button here, now this button contains it's a custom button that contains my script that I created. So Very cool. So now we can reuse this button later. So I'm going to upload this to the repository that you should be seeing at this time. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna commit for this because I'm gonna change this later. So if you download the whole repository, most likely you won't get this version of the code, but if you go for this commit, then you will get everything what I did till this point. I'm going to add a couple of other things here just to subscribe to all the events and handle them, and that's going to be posted on the repository for you to check the code. And on the next video, I'm going to try to scale this to make it with several buttons, and we'll go from there. Hope you like this video and it's useful for you. If you have any questions or comments, just post them below. And that's it for this video. Thank you.